Greetings, I'm Shad.
And greetings, I am Tyranth.
Tyranth, we have something weird today.
Fun, I would say fun. This is fun.
It is fun, but also weird.
Yes.
This is the Chinese Nine Rings Dao sword. It's not a sword, but that's the name of it. From Sword Is.
I would just call it a two-handed Dao. That's what
I would call it a friggin' pole arm.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah,
it's a pole arm, this.
We received this and a bunch of other things from them as well, and we're going to get around to all of them. But this was the one where it's like...
It's going to be fun.
This is just fun.
We just want to swing it around. Like, for our regular sword reviews, we will put it in the rig, we'll rate its cutting capacity and stuff like that. This won't fit in the rig. It's not a sword. It's out of the ordinary. We're going to share our thoughts on its quality, but also its usability. Is it worth its price point? We do have an affiliate link if you're interested in this, as well as anything from Sword Is. Sword is a sword retailer website that has a very wide range, and they've sent us some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
This was also sent to us from Sword Is. It's another Chinese-style sword, which
funnily enough, we both like.
We really like this one. I'm not
a fan of the handle, but the blade on this, I think, is beautiful. This blade is absolutely gorgeous.
This is going to be fun to review. So this is also coming, and they sent us two. One, to destroy, which is, hey, like, that shows some confidence. Like, all right, we know you're going to wreck one. They sent us two. This is on its way, though, right? That's going to be a more detailed review. We're going to have some fun with this thing.
I actually really like these sorts of weapons. I actually like these longer pole arms, these two-handed things. I like them. The issue I have with this one is it is heavy.
Redonkulously heavy.
Like, you can't... I could maybe do 4 or 5 cuts with it, and then I'm kind of like, oh, I need to take a rest for a minute. Which is not very functional.
I mean, that's the thing. I could not see this being a functional sword, though it is sold as having battle-ready option, and it has a full tang. It's got, like, the pins are here, here, and here. And this looks like the ring is welded on, so full tang all the way through.
It's incredibly sharp as well.
It is insanely sharp. So this has come battle ready. There are some really nice parts to this sword thing, but at the end of the day, for me, it's just too heavy.
Yeah, it's
just
too
heavy.
But we're still going to have fun with it.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
Test it, maybe do some cuts with it, maybe do some other stuff. But we just wanted to point that out because that is a negative thing about it. But it's just because it's unwieldy. I mean, but apart from that quality, in terms of the fit and finish of things, it's all pretty good. And I actually like this sort of...
impressive things about it. And if you wanted something as a display piece that you're not going to be swinging around, as an example of a type of sword in the past, I just could not see that the historical versions of this would be this weight.
I think it's just the thickness of the spine.
It's so thick.
It's so thick. We're talking nearly a centimetre thick of steel. It is...
8 mil, I think.
No, that's more than that.
Maybe. We'll have to measure it, right? The other thing that actually I want to mention that really impresses me, this blade is... I don't like using this term. It's patterned steel. It's not. They call it Damascus, but it's pattern welded steel, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
As a result, the price point for this thing is up there.
What is it? Because I actually don't know what it is.
Do you want to guess?
For this size, I'm going to say 1,000. They probably put it about that. Yeah.
It's about 1,000 US. So as a display piece, right? It has some things that kind of justify the price.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's a display piece. I'd say this is functional, for sure.
It is functional.
It's just how long can you use it?
You wouldn't want to use it, though.
Yes, but like, think about the $3,000 katana.
Yeah.
I would say that is a display piece and it's not very functional.
Yes.
I mean, that got damaged on cutting, which is something most people do when they get a katana. With this, I have no doubt this is going to smash through everything. It's just a bit unwieldy. So
it might not. We don't know how strong the blade is. We will put that to some stress testing, as we usually do. I would expect it to hold together because the weight of this thing, the amount of stress that this is going to feel because of its weight is going to be orders of magnitude higher than a regular sword.
Well, I was originally worried a little bit about the tang, but now that it's
got a full tang,
it should be okay. This is still a pretty steep transition, but I think it should be all right. Depends what we do with it, really.
Well, let's go and show you some other features about this thing, actual picking it up and removing it. But actually, before we do, let's actually weigh this in. I have a prediction. Oh, gosh. I think this is...
too heavy for our scales.
5 kilos.
Our scales max out at like 5 kilos, so.
Whoa.
We'll say 4.5.
4.5 kilos. I was close.
Ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
I think this may be the heaviest thing we have in the armory.
Heaviest weapon like this. Like
we've got, yeah. Even the Beck is nowhere near that.
The Beck isn't even close. Our halberds aren't even close. This is, and it's all, the blade is so friggin' chunky.
Yeah.
Even at the tip, right?
Yeah.
That is at least 5 mil, I think, right there. And it has a distal taper.
It is a beautiful blade, though.
5 mil thick at the tip. 5 mil thick at the tip is crazy, but at the same time, I think it's better that way to just so it all hold together. This thing's overbuilt.
All right, let's put it to the test, though.
Let's go. But before we continue, I want to talk to you a little bit about the reason why I love the medieval period. And part of it is because it's part of my own personal heritage. This is the history of my family, which is why the sponsor of this video is particularly appropriate, which is My Heritage. Because when you want to learn about your own personal heritage, the history of your family, the other half of it, aside from learning about the culture and the way that they lived, is also learning about the people, your ancestors. And My Heritage is the #1 family history research service. You'll get to build your own family tree, and I'll even show you mine, and discover your origins. You can also learn about new relatives that you never even knew about. The site has over 19 billion records, all at your fingertips. And so there are some really cool features I'm going to be able to show you, and if you're interested, you can get a 14-day free trial on My Heritage through the link in the description below or in the pinned comment, or you can scan the QR code right there. So what you see here is my family tree, all the way here. And then above me is my parents, and then that goes to my grandparents on my father's side, and then on my mother's side. I currently don't have a photo showing who I am, and so it's as easy as uploading one. And I'm going to pick this one, which is, oddly enough, it's me wearing my armor, which might throw some people if they're going to a family history site and they see a guy in medieval armor that's dated that no, he's actually alive. But I'm doing it anyway. So there we go, I added my photo. Now, if we zoom in at these kind of bare sections, adding someone is as easy as simply clicking on them and then filling in the details. And then you simply OK, and you've added someone onto your family tree. It also has some really cool features. For instance, if I click on one of my ancestors, Ada Rogers, and I go to more, or no, I go to her profile, click on her profile, you can check out some of the photos, right? And this is an old black and white photo. Look at this, they have an option to restore colors. So I click on this, check out what happens. And so they've restored some of the colors. Before, black and white. After, actually has some skin tones. And because My Heritage has over 19 billion records, they have this thing called discoveries, where you go to instant discoveries, and it does this automatic search over its records for connections in those records directly to you with the click of a button. But in the first discovery, I can add 6 new people to my family tree that it's discovered just from those records, and that's connected to my mother-in-law. So if you are interested in My Heritage, you can start up with a 14-day free trial through the link in the description below. Or you can simply scan the QR code that is appearing on the screen right now. No stresses to give it a go, and you can genuinely discover some amazing things, even bring some of that past, your own family history, to life. So thank you to My Heritage for sponsoring this video. So holding this thing, like I said, the weight is just nuts, right? And I think I could, like, in combat, brace it like this, and yeah, you'll get some hits in, but stopping this momentum, I gotta say though, this pattern welded pattern is gorgeous. It's actually done pretty darn nicely.
I am glad that you brought up the weight of when you're actually swinging the blade around, because that's where I think this becomes not very practical. Because usually, even with like the closest thing I can actually compare it to is the giant swords.
Yeah.
The giant swords. Once you get them going, you've got a lot of momentum in them, but the moment you try and stop them, like it'll literally pull you with it. And I think that's why this becomes so unwieldy.
Yeah, yeah, this is huge. The next part I want to mention are the rings.
Yeah.
In my mind, they're completely useless. I've seen Shaolin monks use versions of these. They're much thinner, and they shake them in such a way that the rings are making an interesting sound with the movements and stuff. Apart from the sound,
all the neighborhood cats will come around.
Yeah, right. It has no functional purpose. If you say that it's to like make sound to distract your opponents, no, just no.
See, this is the thing. How am I supposed to hit with it? Because I feel like an axe. axe. When I go over, I want to bring my hand down here.
And just go, wah!
The problem is, I can't stop that.
Yes.
So I want to hit more like this. The problem is...
So you have control, but then you have less power.
Yeah, and I can feel that pulling me into the ground.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And this is basically just a chopper. It's not really got a good thrusting point.
No.
And so if I could ask you to move out of the way.
I will.
Like, all right, yes, but then I can't really thrust back. And if, like, this is so heavy, it's harder, and I'm reluctant. Look at all that to try and swing that around. That almost hurt my arm. And so doing that at speed, just nah. And so then you're left open and the weight is pulling you like that. I'm not saying this style weapon isn't effective. This is just too heavy for you to really use it as a battle weapon.
Yeah. When I see this, I just think of like an execution.
That's right. This is a decapitation executioner tool. And honestly, it would feel like the executioner swords from medieval history are probably a better comparison to this style of sword, where they were made purposefully to have ridiculously heavy blades to be like axes.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if like this is not accurate. Maybe it's supposed to be lighter or something. Let us know, because that would change up everything.
I have to believe that the historical battle versions must have been lighter.
You see what I'm saying? Like, even just standing and holding it, I have to...
It's ridiculous.
I have to rest this, or else I don't want to hold it.
Having said that, because it's so heavy, this is going to be fun to mess things up with.
All right, let's go cut some things then.
And in fact, to mess things up with, we are going to be joined by Ant. Come and say hi.
He doesn't like Ant-Man, so none of you guys in the comments say Ant-Man.
Now they will, of course.
Well, I hope everyone likes my cool pants.
Hey, those, I've mentioned them in another video. I'm not sure if it's before or after this one, but they're great pants.
Yeah.
This crossguard, sorry, not crossguard, Suba, but that's Japanese, it's Chinese.
It's a Suba.
This ring
Suvalaki.
guard, this circular guard, right?
Suba.
This is solid, copper, right? And it is thick.
Hey.
It's
in this economy?
It's unnecessary. It's just so heavy. So with this being like over 4 times heavier than a regular sword, I am reluctant to put my full strength into this, because the more I accelerate it, the harder this is going to be to slow down. And I don't want to throw out my back. So I'm just actually going to let the weapon do most of the force behind this. And with the weight, that should be ample. Also, I said that I was worried about rings getting caught on targets. Not going to get caught on this, because this blade is so massive. The width of the blade is greater than the width of this. And so it'll have cut through before the rings even hit the back. So this pool noodle is a little big. Let me just trim it down to size. That was sharp. Ooh, that one. Already from those swings, that was exhausting. This is such a heavy thing to swing around.
Let's give it another go.
I will.
How did it feel, though?
Like crap.
I had a feeling. It sounded like crap.
Gosh. And it's so heavy, it's engaging my core. My ribs are feeling sore. All right, like usually with a sword, you could just reverse your hands and do a back. I can't. I need to switch hands to do a cut coming up. Edge alignment is tough with this thing. See, those cuts are the easiest. Let's do horizontal. Whoa, that one is ugly.
I hate this already.
Edge alignment, man, yeah.
What am I going to do?
I know, you can't. You have to switch hands on the back swing.
You have to either, when you do this, switch up your grip, which I do not recommend, because you cannot, it's too long to...
Look, it's hitting you. That's why it's a pole arm. That's the issue you have with pole arms.
Yeah, I could do a switch.
You can do a switch?
Yeah, I'll do a switch.
Can you feel it in your core more?
No, it feels all right. With a weapon like this, they do have the added advantage because they have such a long handle. You can, while I'm pushing, I'm pulling. so I don't have to use too much more strength than usual. It's just so heavy on my main hand because the blade is just ridiculously heavy. I got that little bit.
Tyranth is seeing that it's just as hard as it was me. He likes to think my horizontals are skill issues.
Oh.
Fluke.
Yep.
Right as Shad was saying that. That was, that was delicious, that one. This one is exhausting.
This is exhausting.
I've cut 2 pool noodles and I'm already like, oh, that was a little bit much. It's so heavy. That's crazy. Take a sword any day.
There we go. It counts. I don't care what you say.
No.
Still counts.
No.
All right, let's swing this big dog of a thing, eh? Okay. And
Try
then the reverse,
horizontal,
you really
yeah.
gotta. Oh, that was awkward. So challenging. It's hefty. That is extreme. Oh, just that alone, mate.
Yeah.
I am knackered.
Exhaust you.
Wow.
That's
Give
why.
me a sword.
Like this just.
Oh.
We lost a ring on it.
We lost the ring.
We lost a ring already.
We lost the ring.
This is why this here cannot be as heavy as the historical versions. Like, it's too impractical.
You can't use it.
You can't. Like, you're exhausted after a few swings. So usually on our stress tests, we do it to see how much the wood damages the sword. But in this one, I have a feeling we can legitimately, observe how much this sword damages the wood. So much so that we're not hitting our regular beam because we could break it. We're doing it against a pallet, and after, I'm going to split wood with this thing. Let's see how much of an axe it really is. Here goes. Oh. Yeah, it's a chopper. Holding together.
My technique here is going to be called using it like an axe, which might actually break it.
Is it the same spot again?
I have good aim.
No, you're fluking it.
Nah. I'll be right. I can't see.
Can't see.
I'm not used to it, alright? Nah.
That's a good effort.
That's a good effort, that'll do. I think it'll do some damage on someone.
Some things to mention, right? We're putting this under more abuse than any weapon really should. So there's that. And the fact that it's holding together this much is, credit to it. We are damaging it. We've lost more rings. Well, I think we're starting to warp the
It's got
blade.
some ripples, yeah, looking at that.
see?
Yeah, looking down this way.
It looks like there might be some there, but it's still holding together pretty well. Like with the force that we're doing in, no, we are bending it this way. That's more bent that way.
Oh, crap.
Look at that.
Wow, okay.
Look at that.
You can actually see a bit of a gap through there now.
I mean, with the amount of
light.
force we're throwing in, though,
It's holding up.
it's surprisingly.
And I think wood's a bit harder than than flesh.
Let's see if we can split some wood.
All right.
See if we can split this bit of wood. Now, but having said that, this is actually pretty dense. Pretty dense bit of wood, don't you reckon?
That is not dry, crummy wood. That is definitely got some
And I think it's
moisture in it.
I think it's gum, and gum is a dog to cut
Solid.
into.
It'd be a lot harder than that pellet.
Yeah. So
It's,
unless we split it along the grain,
Yeah. You're not really going to have much chance, are you?
yep,
We'll see.
we'll see.
But bear in mind as well, this is starting to move.
Yeah,
so
this
probably
might-
need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, stand back, boys.
Alrighty.
This might break it. And I'm not sure it's wide enough to split it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get lodged in. Are we ready?
Oh! Well, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
That actually,
although it's
that worked a treat.
10 mil wide,
Yeah,
still managed to split it fine. Only left of the blade.
yeah.
Glanced a little.
You gave it a shave. Gonna go again. mate.
Surrounded by critics. It's like a YouTube comment section. Yeah, that sucked.
Okay, before we do our final overview thoughts, I do want to mention that it came with a sheath that is not the best quality. It's just falling apart.
Yeah, it cut through it in transport, it seems.
Do you reckon that's what did it? The
I think
blade
it would, yeah.
actually. Well, these do look kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
maybe.
even then, it's not like the highest quality.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, at least it came with something. But okay, this thing is dumb.
In terms of its weight, I feel like that's the only issue I'm having here. It is fun to cut with. It's very robust. It had a wicked sharp edge.
Look.
The blade is beautiful. I like the length of this handle. It's just the weight. It's so heavy.
I do think I need to compliment its durability.
Yeah.
We put that through some serious stress and abuse then. We lost the rings, as I expected. Everything else held together surprisingly well. The blade, I want to get a really good close look at this thing.
I don't think there was too much damage.
On the edge, at least.
Yeah, I was thinking it was warping, but now I don't think it has.
I think we've... no, I think the blade's fine. I
blade
think it's
is
just
held
the
together.
tang,
Yeah.
which is actually, like we said at the start, to be expected because this is such a thick blade tapering down to such a thin tang. It doesn't matter how long you got it. I mean, the force we're putting onto that blade is
It's crazy. So it bent a little along this way and along this way, but it held together still. It's
Yeah.
actually still solid and functional.
Yeah.
And how did you feel? How did it feel for you?
It's a heavy, heavy weapon. And swing it 3, 4, maybe 5 times, and you gotta sit down.
done.
It's
You're
it's really not practical.
See, that's my issue with it. It's just not practical.
Yeah, looks good on a wall. Like it'd look really good hanging up in a man
It's
cave. Or
nice.
something.
I like. I mean, the pattern welding on the blade is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And there's some nice, pattern work
decorative.
on the copper.
Yep.
Too thick here. That's just too much I don't like about it, but you might like it, all right?
The reason why I don't think it's that bad is because if I was looking for something like this, like a two-handed dowel or maybe even some sort of polearm, I'd rather get something like this that's overbuilt than
fragile.
flimsy. Yeah. So I'm fine with it for that reason. I would much prefer this over a katana that breaks on PVC.
Well, if you
Just saying. I'm just saying. If I buy a weapon, I want it to be functional.
if you want to split wood though, perfect.
Yeah.
And you're having fun whilst doing it.
They make swords for that.
There you go.
I'm actually tempted to get one of those. Look, I will say this has been fun somewhat, but too exhausting for me. And, this isn't the only really big thing that we've tested. We have the Nodachi that we've also tested, which you can check out right here. Hope to see you there. And stay tuned, because we've got more Chinese stuff to test as well.
Beautiful.
Actual Chinese swords, not made in China. Oh, they probably made it try and
Yeah, probably were.
anyway.
Yeah, this one was very, very interesting. Do hope you enjoyed us giving it a thorough review, and also be sure to check out MyHeritage, the sponsor of this video. Remember, there is a link in the description below, as well as the comment section, and that QR code there if you want as well. Genuinely, some very interesting stuff where you could learn a bit more about your heritage. So thank you for watching, and until next time, farewell.